Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Las Vegas Clark County Library District's YouTube channel, Virtually Anywhere. My name's Deandra, and I'm the Performing Arts Center Coordinator at the Summerlin Library. Today, I'm here with my colleague, Tony Allison from the Windmill Library for the first video in our new series we're calling Corona Conversations. As this COVID-19 pandemic continues, we think that there's nothing more important than sharing our thoughts, ideas, and experiences. We believe there's no better way of doing that than sitting down to talk with smart, creative people in our community who can inspire us all to keep going. From the start of the pandemic, we've said, we are in this together. Corona Conversations is our way of showing that by sharing some of our stories. To introduce today's special guest and get the conversation going, here's Tony Allison at the Windmill Library. Tony?
Deandra, thank you so much. Thank you for helping set up today's event. And welcome back, everybody, to our channel, Virtually Anywhere. And welcome back virtually to Windmill Library Auditorium, and the first in our series of Corona Conversations. Now that we've reopened our library branches, you can, of course, revisit Windmill Library 7 days a week. And and please wear your mask right now if you do that. When you walk into our beautiful light-filled lobby, you might notice a display case with an interesting object in it. It happens to be part of the Library District's art collection, and it's been sitting there for many years, and you might not have noticed it before. It is a portable typewriter that was apparently made in 1920, and the brand of that machine might give you a wry smile right now. The fact that it was manufactured 100 years ago in 1920 is also worth thinking about, because as we've all been reminded recently, after 2 brutal years, people were coming through the 1918 influenza pandemic. So that might make you wonder what words were written on this typewriter when somebody bought it in 1920. What stories would they have had to tell about the pandemic they had just lived through? Well, words are very important to us in libraries. We do have quite a few of them in our branches and our electronic resources. But to launch today's conversation, we wanted to turn to an expert, a professional wordsmith. Marek Biernaciński is the co-founder and CEO of a Las Vegas-based company called Words by a Pro, whose website says it clearly and succinctly. We write, and we're really good at it too. Words by a Pro creates website, copy, and corporate blogs. They research and write white papers. They transcribe and summarize the minutes for corporate and government meetings and offer translation services. But above all, of course, they care about words and how they are used. So it is my great pleasure to welcome the co-founder and CEO of Words by a Pro, Marek Biernaciński. Marek, hi.
Hey, how's it going? Boy, you picked a good photo there. That's my better side over there. So thank you, appreciate that.
And you know where I borrowed that photo from. I hope you don't mind.
That's fine. Although honestly, my wife just told me recently, you really should update your photo on your site. I'm like, oh, why is that? Well, you look so younger over there, so much younger over there. I'm like, are you saying I look old now? She's like, you look more professional.
So diplomatic. My wife told me, I said, yes, I've got brown hair, which is what it says on my passport, but that's probably 10 years old now. And she said, no, you haven't. It's not brown anymore. It's like,
if you
really?
squint, maybe.
So, Marek, thank you so much for joining us today. We wanted to talk with you, as we said, because we care about words, and obviously so do you. As I've said, we have a few words in our libraries, but you created an entire small business based on words. That really impressed us. Can you please tell us about Words by a Pro, who you are, what you do, and what you do with words?
Sure. So when it really boils down to it, we're essentially an on-demand content creation team. So we work with mostly marketing agencies, web developers, brands, and we develop written content for various channels. So, web content or blogs or white papers, case studies, etc. So that's kind of the gist of it.
Okay, and I love your entrepreneurial spirit and creating an entire business based on that. How did you figure out from the outset that there would be enough demand to make a living doing this?
I'm a journalist by trade, and so I decided to join the dark side, as we in journalism used to call it, which was PR and marketing. It was just simply better opportunities there. But it started from a realization that web content was becoming more and more important increasingly. Back in the day, when I started writing online, it was in the mid 2000s. It was still kind of the age of keywords, where keywords were king, and there was very little scrutiny in how they were used. So you would have articles that talked about the best piano New York City is found in, so you have a lot of kind of keywords just kind of squeezed in, and really the writing meant very little for companies in order to rank highly in SEO. And I always felt that was kind of a mistake. And so I started writing for companies, offering my services to help them create better copy, something that makes them a little more reputable, something that reads better. And, SEO was kind of figured out afterwards, and so that just developed over time, and so these days, now most marketing departments that we work with, they're understaffed, they have too many projects, they often sacrifice in terms of strategy and high performance thinking because they have to handle content creation because it's become so much more important. And so we come in essentially and help them better utilize their time. They are able to focus on the things that they were hired for, marketing and strategy, and we are the ones who execute that strategy for them.
Great. And the other thing, so content is king. The other thing I noticed immediately from your website is also images count as well. You've got a wonderful little a video clip on your homepage. Who is that very intense looking writer with the ballpoint pen and the furrowed brow? He looks like a poet or something.
That's me from the future. That's me from the future. No, it's just it's not anybody specifically. It's just simply I think that it gave off a vibe for the way that we kind of feel about what we do. When we get into our writing, our team gets very intense. So you should see some of the copy that we do goes through 3, 4, 5 revisions on our end before we actually send it off to the client. Once you start nitpicking specific words, you probably end up looking like that fellow there. So I thought it was a good representation of us.
Absolutely, because that is the essence of good writing, isn't it? Somebody once advised me years ago, actually at college, in the first draft, let your words be bilge.
Very good. Yeah, Bill, that's a great way of looking at it. Yeah, absolutely. And then afterwards, you go ahead and start, chopping it down using that scalpel. Yeah.
Yep. And so these words really grabbed my attention on your website. And if you don't mind, I'm going to quote these because I love it. And I think it sums up who you are and how you do such a good job. It says this, quote, "People run from boring content. We combine your passion with a drop of honey to craft a siren's call for your target market. It'll never get away from you again," unquote. That was so wonderful. That really got my attention. And I thought, whoever wrote that, and was that a team effort? Who put that together?
I'm sure it was. We've got a really great team over here, so I will credit them. I do remember that during the writing process, so I can't give you exact names, but I don't know, serendipity, I suppose, was a part of it also. I don't remember the exact process that led to it, but it was really a sentiment that was born from just years of working with clients and audiences and just seeing what works and what doesn't,
Yeah, well, congratulations on that. Words can get us through any crisis, so let's turn to the elephant in the room, the pandemic we're still living through, and it just seems to be getting worse right now, doesn't it? So the 3 most important words right now seem to be wear a mask. How's life been going for you guys since this all started, and how's business been going?
Well, as far as how it's been going, our process and all that, nothing's really changed for us. We've been a virtual company from the very start, so we were very fortunate in that respect that very little had to change for us as a team. Um, so that's maybe a unique case from most businesses out there. Now, that said, I will say that business has been impacted during any kind of downturn or recession. Marketing is often on the chopping block first. But we've had significant cutbacks in from various clients. I think that it is indicative of the times and the volatility with how quickly businesses also came back to us. It was probably about a month and a half of downturn, and then suddenly we're back, shooting the way that we were. But it's still very uncertain because, again, COVID cases are going up. There's a lot of debate as to how things are going to go with the economy. Whether the Fed pumping so much money into the economy is going to lead to even worse consequences down the road. So there's very little that anyone can really say to predict things. So who knows what it'll be like in the future. But at the moment, we've kind of bounced back. Fingers crossed. We'll see.
Yeah, fingers crossed that continues, and well done. Did you get any help from federal money from the CARES Act or from the PPP scheme?
Yeah, we ended up inquiring into PPP, seeing if that could help us out, and so that was helpful during that month and a half that things were pretty tough. So that kept our team going. We actually ended up using those funds, for all the extra hours that we were now not working for clients. We used that to develop a bunch of in-house marketing material that we're now making use of. And we're also in the middle of a website rewrite and redesign. So what you see right now is actually going to possibly be different when your audience actually looks at this. Who knows? So we've been taking advantage of a lot of that time to work on our own marketing material to help us be prepared for when things truly are back.
Right. We need a picture of you, not from the future, from the past, when you were a young writer at the age of 3 or something. We need one of those on there. That'll sum it up beautifully.
Maybe we'll do something like that just for you, Tony.
Are there any other resources or advice you've had or that have helped you as a small business owner in Las Vegas get through this that you'd like to share with with our community, with folks that might be watching this?
Well, I would advise a shift in mentality, if I could, for many business owners. I think that many have been complacent. We've had a very long stretch of good economy,
10 years plus, right? Can you hear me still? I think my earphones just went out.
Yes, and I think we're getting the microphone from your computer now. So
okay, that's my iPad then. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, I can take these up
works.
In that case. You might hear more ambient sounds now. I've got 2 kids. I've got a 3.5-year-old and a 1-year-old in-house. So if you hear many sounds, then that's where that's coming from. So what I was saying is that I would advise a change in mentality. I think a lot of people have been taking for granted their situation, which complacency leads to stagnation. A lot of people kind of rest on their laurels and they just feel, well, business has been this way, and I'm fine with not expanding or looking at expansion or really starting to make business decisions that maybe you wouldn't otherwise. I know that there are many businesses that are struggling very much right now who haven't had that fortunate bounce back that we've encountered. And I would say that for those businesses, I would advise looking at what your minimal viable product is. The MVP, as software engineers like to call it. We kind of hang around that community quite a bit, so it's more of our lingo. But understanding what is the core essence that makes your business, and then focusing solely on that, making your business truly excellent at that, rather than expanding into so many things. And I think that I've seen this in a lot of restaurants, for example. The restaurants that you go to where you see a menu that just has page after page after page of items, you know, and I'm sure it seems like a good idea to have all those options, but really it just starts to confuse your customer, and they're not going to read through all of that. They're just going to eventually go, okay, I don't know, I'll pick this, right? And so that's true for, I think, most businesses, that if you start delving into too many things, you know, you're going to become a jack of all trades but a master of none, and that's not really going to sell your business. What you need to do is understand what's the core functionality that you're trying to promote, that you want to be excellent in and really known for, and focus on that, and maybe cut the fat elsewhere. And I think that will help some businesses, even with this downturn, even with lower volume, it'll help them manage during this kind of time.
Yeah, Marek, thank you, because the uncertainty is the watchword right now, isn't it? We're all struggling to find our way. And the mere fact that we are doing this and we are talking to you virtually today is proof of that, because we never considered that we'd have to create videos or even take videos of the productions we were putting on here on this stage in this auditorium in the past. And so we're now realizing, was that a mistake? No, but we're now going forward. We're, of course, going to be focusing on that. So, Marek, thank you for your time today. It's great to talk with you and great to get your insights on this situation. And we wish you well with the website redesign and your future success with Words by a Pro. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Thank you very much, too.
Thank you, Marek, for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your words with us. And thank you, Tony, for creating this wonderful opportunity to come together with one of our valuable community members. You will find out more about Words by a Pro at their website, wordsbyapro.com. And of course, you'll find many more words to help you get through this COVID-19 pandemic at our library district's website, lvccld.org. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you back at your local library branch very soon. Please join us again on our YouTube channel, Virtually Anywhere, for more episodes of Corona Conversations. Be safe and be well.